First question will come from Rick Stroud.
Hey, Bruce, we've seen reports that Chris Godwin has a sprained MCL. Do you know anything more about, whether he would go on IR and miss the rest of the regular season, or just where are you at with that? And for that matter, if you can update us on anybody else that got injured.
No, Chris has an ACL, and he's done. So he'll be done for the season. And the rest of the guys are still getting MRIs, and we'll wait and see.
And I know you have high expectations for everybody on that team, right? They were out of rhythm. They didn't really perform the way you wanted to. Is part of that, and I'm not making excuses, but you went a lot with the same guys, right? Whether it was Gronkowski, we haven't seen much of OJ Howard. We haven't seen much of Cameron Brate. We haven't seen much of Ronald Jones. Does the lack of reps and sort of, I don't know what they do in practice, kind of affect that as far as the rhythm goes?
No, not really. I mean, it's just a matter of opportunities. When your opportunities come, you got to be ready. I thought Rowe ran really well. He caught the ball good. And so, yeah, for the other guys, OJ gets a hand on the ball. I see him make that play. Right. But no, it's just a matter of, same thing with those young receivers. Right. They got to be able to beat tight man-to-man coverage, which the Saints are going to play.
We'll go to Greg Auman.
Bruce, we talked a little bit about Robert Gronkowski last night, but when I ask you about the tight end position as a whole, for Gronk to have 11 targets and only 2 catches, and then Howard and Brate weren't that involved, just if you had hoped they might have been able to step up more for you as much as you were hurting at receiver yesterday.
Yeah, I like seeing Gronk catch about 4 more. I'm not used to seeing him drop a ball, and we missed a couple down the sideline. But Cam had some targets, and he was involved heavily. It's just one of those games where we just did not match their intensity with our offense or our special teams.
Thanks, Bruce.
We'll go to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to clarify, when you say ACL injury, torn ACL for Chris Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And also, didn't get much of a chance to dive into this yesterday, but you did bring back Antonio Brown after saying that he screws up one time and he's done. So what made you decide to give him another chance? Well,
the history has changed since that statement. A lot of things went on last year that I was very proud of him, and I made a decision that this was best for our football team.
Thank you.
We'll go to Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, you know how this league is, and some people are coming out of the woodwork. The Saints just gave everybody in the league a blueprint how to attack the Buc offense, and this is the way to do it. Bruce, they've been saying that for 20 years, and nobody but the Saints has been able to do it. So, Bruce, what is it in particular about the Saint coaches, the Saint personnel? Is it the secondary? What makes them so effective?
It's all 11, man. They've got 11 really good players out there, and they've got a great pass rush with 4. They play man-to-man. They mix it up extremely well. They do a hell of a job disguising their coverages as good as anybody in the league. And they have, really good corners and safeties. So you gotta be on your game to move the ball and score on those guys.
And Bruce, the matchup with Jordan and Tristan yesterday, from what I can see, Wirfs only gave up 1 sack. So what did the tape show you about that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, he got Kappa one time, and Tristan, I thought, played a pretty solid ball game. Not quite to his standard, but it was pretty solid.
Thanks, Bruce.
We'll go to Scott Reynolds.
Bruce, Rojo was your most productive weapon last night with 71 yards, yet he didn't get a carry or a target in the final 13 minutes of the game. Vaughn had a couple carries and a target, yet you only trailed 6-0 midway through the fourth quarter. What made you guys go with Vaughn over Rojo down the stretch?
Just a matter of pass protection and some other things that we were trying to do. But had we continued to run the ball, which we probably should have, then Rowe would have played more.
And are you having some distressing flashbacks to the end of the 2019 season when Mike, Chris, and Scotty were out at the end of the year with injuries? You're trying to make the playoffs. Difference being you've got Tom this year, Antonio Brown, and 10 wins rather than 7 like you did back in 2019. But isn't this the scenario exactly why you signed Antonio Brown for in the first place last year?
It was, Chris was hobbling and had the finger, and Mike was hurt. And hopefully we'll get Mike back soon. I don't know when, but hopefully soon.
But in
And,
terms of
And then, that's one of the reasons we have AB.
We'll go to Joey Knight.
Coach, not a very good night for special teams. What about that unit concerns you the most right now? What's the biggest thing that bothers you about special teams?
Kickers, our punters and our kicker, both got to do better jobs and be accountable. They're both very talented, and games like that, you can't miss field goals and you can't punt poorly. And we did that. Obviously, the rookie roughed the punter, went for the wrong side, and we gave up the one return that we shouldn't have.
You brought in a talented punter last week on your practice squad. Will you open that job for competition?
There's no competition. It's just whether or not Bradley's okay.
Thanks.
We'll go to Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Bruce, obviously, it's such a bummer of news for Chris Godwin. Can you just speak to the season that he was having before this happened? I mean, career year for him. And I know it's next man up there, but it probably hurts to not have him out there.
Yeah, you feel bad for him because he was having such a great year, and the type of hit it was totally legal. But I think that's one of the things we have to look in the offseason. We're so concerned about hitting people in the head that we're getting a lot of knee injuries now because of that type of tackle. But it is legal and wasn't a bad play at all. But yeah, you just feel bad for Chris.
We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Bruce, at receiver, was just curious kind of what the cavalry might be and what help you might be able to get. If Perriman went on the COVID reserve list Saturday, his 10-day window would carry over through the Panthers game. Do you have any expectations of him coming back? And then curious what would be next, whether it's Grayson or Watson or who else might be able to help you?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think BP should have a chance to get back. Don't know when, but should have a good chance. And then we'll start looking at all the pieces and put the game plan together.
Would you go outside to a receiver that's not in the system right now, or are you okay with what you have in-house?
I'm okay with what we have now, yeah.
We'll go to Rick Stroud. All right, we'll go to Jenna Lee.
Hey, Coach, back to Antonio. I really appreciate your honesty on that last question. I'm curious, what was the decision-making process for you like, knowing that some people might go back to those comments you made publicly about Brown and say, wait a minute, hasn't this guy had enough chances?
I could give it what they think. The only thing I care about is this football team and what's best for us.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
We'll go back to Rick Stroud.
There we go. Coach, I wanted to ask you, with respect to Rojo, I don't know how serious Leonard Brooks' hamstring is, but hamstrings are tricky things. In reverse, I mean, is this another opportunity?
Yeah, it really is, Rick. It's his time now to do what happened for Leonard last year, when he got hurt. And so, yeah, I've got all the confidence in the world. He ran great, caught the ball good. And I think going forward, it's his job right now.
We have time for a few more. Next, we'll go to Greg Allman.
Bruce, I wanted to check with you on Patrick O'Connor. He had a knee injury as well. Just if you know anything about that one yet.
No, everybody's still getting MRIs. Some have to wait till tomorrow because of swelling.
And back on AB, if I can, I understand what you're saying. There were some comments you made last year to the team talking about how upset you would be if they did anything to get you or Tom Moore sick as a result of this. Just on a personal level, for you to be who you are and know that players presented themselves as being vaccinated when they weren't, is there any concern about that, or is that something where you're willing to look past that?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.
We'll go to Joey Knight.
Coach, Antonio hasn't played in about 2 months. How many snaps can he reasonably be expected to play this weekend?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, Wednesday, Thursday's practice, see how much he can do. And hopefully we can get 30, 35 plays out of him.
Last question will come from Evan Winter.
Hey, Coach, I know you've elaborated a little bit on Keyshawn and Rojo at the same time. I noticed Keyshawn was in on third down quite a bit once Lenny went down. Is that going to be more of his role moving forward, or is that just something that you're waiting to see until Lenny and Gio get back?
Yeah, we'll wait and see who's available and what we're going to do this week as far as the game plan. That was the game plan because he's a good pass blocker and usually has reliable hands. So we'll wait and see.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
All right, that's all we have time for. Appreciate taking time, Coach.
Thank you, guys.